third in a row. This guy taking his sweater off, of course. You can visibly see the frustration on him. Tough play. Step out.
Yes,
really
Kenny!
nice serve from Kenny there as well. And now we'll see what happens going into game 2. We got Kenny with the serve immediately and a touch right off the bat. Pushed right between Dylan and himself. You hear Kathy in the background cheering for Dylan and I. Yeah, she's our biggest supporter. About the only one that's willing to scream for us for sure. Kenny going to that split step that he knows is so devastating on me. Looking for a backdoor there and finds rim, unfortunately. We're going to allow Dylan to serve first here, which is probably the smart decision. Dylan going with a straight on there. Has a good opportunity to get Zach on a drop. If he had hit that on, that probably would have put Zach in a pretty compromised position based on how far back he was playing. But now Zach serving to Dylan himself. Missed long there. And we'll have somebody go chase a ball for us as we rotate into the next point. Contemplating my life here. And bashing it into the rim. Probably a common sight for the rest of the day if memory serves me well. The serves just did not feel well today at all. Kenny going into that split step again, not what you want to see, if you're me, at least. And Kenny steps out. Just a little one that time. That one, no, that lit. That definitely lit. And a no-go. Oh, okay. So we are going to observers. I forgot Fitzy was in on this game, too. He's been off camera here. Actually, I think he came in for game 2, which was nice. I always like seeing that kid. And they call that one an ace. I will gladly disagree with that. Step out.
Yes,
really nice serve from Kenny there as well. Challenging Dylan. Right up top. That's the thing. If you give Kenny's serve too much space, it winds up putting you in a situation where you're really receiving up here, and it's pretty hard. Wow. And Kenny rattles off a third in a row with the mix up there going short. Especially after all that, sometimes you take an extra step back just to give yourself a little bit more time to receive. You know, when a server's on a run like that and it does open up short, Kenny taking advantage of that. Very smart play by him. And that puts them up 3 breaks really, really fast. That one double faulting, allowing us to rotate here, and we're looking to make up some points. Dylan putting the game face on, trying to retaliate with some serving prowess of his own at a minimum. Oh, a good save. What did they? What is the call here? I legitimately don't remember this part of the game at all. This is so interesting. Looks like it's going to result in a point either way. We'll have to go back and talk to Point Loma about that. I have zero clue as to why we would have won that point. It looked like Kenny played it, or maybe he called no good and then continued to play it. I don't know. They must have called it off. It must have been a verbal point there. And now, of course, we're adjusting the camera. That's nice. I'm sure everyone's enjoying that. That's not making anybody nauseous. Wow. What an amazing drop serve there by Zach. That's exactly what I was talking about in game 1. If you were able to hear me, his drop serve when he hits is really, really good. And when it's not, it's a free ball, unfortunately. That one power through around the left side of Zach, but you can see they're in very good positioning in order to get a play there. It's really only a matter of time with that kind of positioning, with them getting some touches, and especially because they're Point Loma, they're very good at converting off that. That one goes high on me, just barely over the outstretched arm of Zach. If he was just a little taller, that would help me.
Let's go, Loma!
Have to find a way to dip a little lower and get a serve on. And that one drifts high as well for the double fault. I will rotate with Kenny Ortega serving.
Let's go, Kenny.
This one lining up in a normal stance, not going for that devastating split step that he has. Still a little bit of kick on the ball, but Dylan able to read at that time. Finds a lip over Kenny, and Zach not catching the ball in time. Maybe expecting a defensive touch by Kenny and anticipating a set, but unfortunately no touch from Kenny. Dylan lipping off the back end of the net on that one. You can visibly see the frustration on him. Oh, a little bit of an opportunity there, and unfortunately we aren't able to convert. Dylan looking for a body, and the ball goes down instead of up. I was looking for a little bit more of a pull shot from Kenny, but he was able to find a good tool in the meantime. Oh, Dylan going for a terrible bull shot there. That wasn't even that bad of a pass. Definitely a bad mistake there. You can see the breaks accumulating now in Point Loma, you know, really pulling ahead right now. Oh, another opportunity there off the break. Gosh. This is definitely where things got a little bit out of hand, and I decided to call a timeout. I think it's like 16-9 right now, something like that. I just remember really not feeling great about the performance thus far. And yeah, just definitely not what we were looking to do in our 3-4 game here. Point Loma up a myriad of breaks here. It's going to take a miracle for us to find a way to come back. But you know that there's always potential in the serving prowess of Dylan and a hot vengeance anytime we are on, but clearly not having it right now. Things starting to wrap up on the court around us right now, so you'll see a lot of people start coming in, and we have to tell people to like just move out of the way. Yep, there's me going, dude, stay back. We're playing an actual match here. This actually means something. Also, please stop walking in front of our camera. We would definitely like to watch this. Yep, more pushing of the hands. Please, please stop invading our court. That would be fantastic. This guy taking his sweater off, of course. See, there's that free ball when he doesn't hit it. Kenny's still able to find a hand on that one, getting in the slot there, which is impressive, but not good enough for a point. Ball blasts to the other side of the net where Zach is not. I'm serving behind the guy who's clearly in the way in the visor. Looking. Oh, I run around on that one. A decent opportunity there. That one goes over Dylan. Zach, choosing a smart hit, knowing that Dylan is right there. All right, Utah, you could definitely get out of the way. Thanks, man. All right, so now we have a clear screen. Kenny serving. Calling a pocket on that one. I would not be shocked if this didn't go to observers, though. It was definitely close. I definitely thought it lipped off the back end. Or maybe they're just confident enough in their breaks that they're thinking it's not worth it. Free ball there. Quick take on two. Making quick work of that ball. Taking advantage of the low first touch by Dylan. That one finding rim, unfortunately. Tough play. Able to power through it, though, finding my way around Zach. I'm just realizing, too, that I really actually like this view. In all the other videos, you get some palm trees in the mountains in the background, but I really like that we get the pier. For those of you, we're just north of the Santa Monica Pier, which is super nice. It's like one of my favorite places, honestly. Wish I played a little better in this game for it. And they decide not to, oh, that's right. They call me for close on that one, so that play blown dead, even though I could not hear. So that is going to lead to a second serve for me. That one buries itself into the ground, no good. Kenny lined up in that split step again. little bit of a kick. Dylan handles it decently well. Touch opportunity here, and Kenny can't get up in time. Really good touch by Kenny, though. Dylan had a really solid hit on that one, so it's impressive that he was able to do something with it. Dylan with a back door. Kenny finding it, and that ball goes through. Zach looking to close this out. Miss. Serve goes to me.
What's the game over there?
And massive miss by me. You can just tell the frustration. Definitely not playing my version of the game right now. Again, just known for serve percentage and not finding it at all right now. A little bit of a bite there. Oh, that's a tough play. Gave Dylan an opportunity there, but he hits rim. And Point Loma is your third place winner, going on to make the podium amongst Shizik Showalter and Wabi Sabi. Dylan and I still with a pretty good finish on the day, something that we're still very proud of. Prior to this, Dylan and I had always had pretty rough nationals experience despite being very successful throughout a season. And we're not able to make it past the round of 16 at any of these other events or at any other national since 2015. Dylan all the way back to 2014, actually. And with this time, we find our way into our first semifinal appearance and fourth place finish. Still an amazing end to the season. Unfortunately, you'd like to see us play a little bit better, but Point Loma deservingly finishing it out and able to celebrate with their family. So let's break this down. Let's go into the stats of it all. Let's see where things went wrong. I think it's readily obvious, but for Point Loma, you got Kenny Ortega serving another devastating 80%, higher than his 78% the game before, with 3 aces and two defensive touches returned to the net. That's a lot of breaks. He's creating 5 himself in a series, and the score there was 21-14. So that is a lot of opportunities there. Pretty crazy stats. Zach Wood finding an ace of his own on his drop serve. This is the impressive percentage here. His points won on serve as a percentage overall, 50%, meaning that 50% of the time when he served the ball, they were able to find breaks. So they were getting breaks off of defensive touches on his serve, and his serve percentage was another 75%. Now you'll see a massive difference here in serve percentages amongst Origin Vengeance's teammates. Dylan Fogarty with 2 spikes returned to the net here. Those are the ones that Kenny got. His points won on serve when the ball was on net was 33. So you can tell that when he's making serves, they are still devastating and earning him the points that Vengeance so desperately needs. But also has 2 missed spikes to boot. One on a bad take on 2, and another one at least a little bit tougher of a situation on that last point of the game. Let me look up his serve percentage really quick too. His serve percentage was 50%, so a little bit lower than you would ideally want. But Dylan's always had serve percentage problems throughout this season, but the payoff is usually pretty good. Where things go awry here is looking at my serve percentage. Chris Hornacek serve percentage of 20%, beyond uncharacteristic. I am somebody that usually gets about 70 to 80% of my serves on pretty reliably, I think. If it like low end 60, like I don't usually dip below 50 like this. This is beyond uncharacteristic with 2 aces against and generating none myself. Also no touches. So -2 on the break generation myself, which is unfortunate. I think I had played very well throughout the rest of the day, so I'm excited to do these other streams coming up and, show you guys some of these awesome matches that happened earlier in the day where I actually played well. But I think we learn a lot from these things. In my mind, I thought I had played so much worse than Dylan, and Dylan definitely made a couple of errors here. I think he was kind of forced to try and take over the game a little bit because I was playing so poorly, and I think that led to a few more, but it at least was a little bit more even than I remember. I do think that like my serve percentage numbers speak for themselves and just really show you how, especially like at the high level, if you're missing your serves to a massive extent, like I was, you're not setting yourself up for success and you are going to lose and you're going to lose bad. Serving 20% there resulted in 21-14. Again, Point Loma, an amazing team. They're good defensively and in the serve game. You can't give them an inch. They're going to find breaks on you. That's just a lot and definitely too much to give up. There was some defense lacking on both of our ends. I don't think Dylan and I really had any touches. We had none in game 2, and then in game 1 we had none there, and not even touches that were failed to bring back to the net. So Point Loma plays an incredibly crisp, clean game 1 and game 2. Takes the third place away from Vengeance. Vengeance still looking for a podium finish. Catch us there in 2019, folks. So yeah, that was pretty much the takeaway here. So we'll go into some final thoughts. Again, need to throw some thoughts in here next time. But Point Loma, really an amazing team. I think people thought that they might have been overrated towards the beginning part of the season. They started off the first tournament losing to PJ and his college teammate, who was definitely not like a super great player. He definitely wasn't like a top 10 team kind of player. But PJ was able to beat him with that partner, or beat Point Loma with that partner in a round of 16 match. And PJ went on to take third at that tournament with Zach Webb. So people kind of thought that maybe they were a little bit overrated, but they bounced back, making the podium at literally every single other tournament that they attended throughout the year. Also finding a pitcher at the San Francisco tour stop, beating San Francisco. Yeah, beating Wabi Sabi. They're the number 2 team in the country. So they wind up having an incredibly successful season, hoping to see a little bit more travel out of them next year. They are both married as of now, and hopefully continue to be. But it was recent, so I think that's accounted for a little bit of their lack of traveling. So we'll see what kind of happens. I know that they, take this very seriously and they want to play more. Hopefully they're able to find a few more weekends in their schedule to get out there and travel, especially to some of these bigger tournaments like Lancaster or Summer Spike. It just seems like they should be there and be a part of that conversation and just massive tournaments like that. Vengeance, you've got a pretty solid year throughout. A couple of losses throughout the middle of the year, especially during a 3-week stint of Columbus, Santa Monica, and New York, where they had a couple disappointing losses to Subpar, Worldwide, and Schweppes. But overall, an incredible season. They found themselves on the podium a lot. We took home a lot of mugs. A lot of the tournaments that we went to, we wound up losing to Chiswick Showalter. So it's hard to be mad at your results when you do that, but a pretty incredible finish. Also, finding a pitcher on the year at Midwest Regionals, which was definitely the highlight of the season. Although I'm going to say, for me personally, I was more happy with finishing top 4 at Nationals. It's something that I'm legitimately really proud of. And even though I didn't play well in that last game, the rest of the day just felt good and felt like I finally was performing to my potential, and felt like it was the Nationals that was supposed to be. I think we were the 4th best team this year, and we finished right at 4th, so it's hard to be mad. I definitely wanted the opportunity to prove that we were better than Point Loma, but unfortunately that will just have to wait for another season. So it's back to the drawing board that Dylan and I will go, and we will find our way up there some way, somehow. That's my take on it. Well, thank you all for joining. I really appreciate it. This was awesome. I'm going to flip this over real fast, and we'll see you on the next one.